Welcome back, guys. Recently, the City of Sanford Zoning team got together to discuss the new campground setbacks proposed by the planning board. They also took feedback from some of the neighbors. In this video, we're going to listen to one of the neighbors named Beatrice Bee Guilmette, who is against our campground project and wants to keep our land undisturbed for her enjoyment. I think you're going to find it very interesting when the deputy mayor asked Bee a specific question about mobile homes. Let's get after it. By the way, for those of you who don't know, NIMBY stands for Not in My Backyard, and bananas stands for Build Absolutely Nothing Anywhere Near Anyone. Both of these phrases have been used during city discussions about our campground project. If you're new to this channel, my name is Michael Patterson, and my family and I are trying to build a campground on 113 acres that we verified with the city before purchasing was zoned for a campground. After submitting our project, the City Council passed a retroactive moratorium to stop our campground plans in order to appease the seasonal residents surrounding our campground land. The City Planning Board made recommendations to the City Council on what the new setbacks should be, and some of the City Council members don't like the recommendation and are considering greater setbacks. The problem is that now the owners of existing campgrounds in Sanford realize that these new setbacks will adversely impact their campground's possible expansion plans in the future. What makes the situation difficult is that the neighbors of existing campgrounds aren't a problem, and the city is trying to figure out how to force concessions on our specific campground project without impacting existing campgrounds. In this video, we're going to listen to Bee as she explains why she is concerned about the campground and the setbacks. A bit of background: Bee and her partner, Karen Costa, own this seasonal cottage at 25 Siddle Road in Sanford, Maine, on Sand Pond, and have been against the campground project since it was announced.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate all the work everybody has done, but it seems like this entire conversation is centered around the campground owners as opposed to protecting the abutters. The neighbors are in a residential zone. We selected to live here for various reasons, and now we're trying to protect what it is that we have.
Bee is half correct. Their seasonal cottage is in what is called the rural residential zone, which allows homes as well as many different types of businesses, including campgrounds. Let's listen to Deputy Mayor Maura Herlihy as she corrects Bee on what is allowed in the rural residential zone.
Rural residential does not mean it's only rural people who are living in their homes. There are a lot of other uses. In your zone, mobile home parks are allowed with the current setbacks, no adjustments, much smaller setbacks. Gravel pits are allowed, Steve. I'm gonna throw out a few. I just want people to take some perspective here. Campgrounds are not the evil bear here. And I am extremely sensitive until we get beyond the point of what's common sense. Really, hi, John. Gravel pits are allowed. Farms are allowed. Fairgrounds are allowed.
As you can see in this video, Bee and Karen like to fish on the pond specifically in front of our house. This is because the fishing is really good due to the fact that we have left our 200 feet of shorefront naturally vegetated for the fish, wildlife, and insects to enjoy. The fishing in front of Bee and Karen's house isn't very good because they have clear-cut their waterfront, and they or the prior owner have taken down more trees on the water over the past 20 years. They have destroyed the environment for the wildlife on the pond in front of their cottage. It is this clear-cutting by the owners of seasonal cottages on Sand Pond that has slowly destroyed much of the natural beauty on the pond. Our 200 feet of frontage on the pond, combined with the nearly 600 of shoreline owned by our campground, makes up a huge portion of what is left of the natural beauty on the pond that draws the seasonal visitors from other communities. Let's listen to the Deputy Mayor Maura Herlihy ask Bee a very important question regarding the possible development of houses like Bee's on the land.
So B, I'm gonna ask you a question. Would you want the same thing if he decided to put a mobile home park back there?
Absolutely. It's not about a campground. It's not about Sand Pond.
Okay, so even if my wife and I decide to put in houses or cottages or mobile homes, B wants the setback to increase from the current 15 feet to 100 or 200 feet, and her position is not about being against a campground or wanting to protect the pond. She just said that even if a house or mobile home is placed on the land abutting hers, she wants the dwelling to be 100 or more feet back from her land. Remember, the council is setting a new setback that will impact all land in the rural residential zone. If B is changing her mind and saying that her objection isn't about campgrounds or about protecting the pond, her new position is that all new homes built next to an existing home need to be 100 or 200 feet back from all property lines. In other words, if a developer wants to put houses on land in Sanford, they all need to be 100 to 200 feet back from existing homes. Does that sound reasonable to you? Leave a comment down below. Let's continue listening to Bee as she explains her position on wanting what is good for the entire town or city versus what she wants for her personal neighborhood.
It's not about a campground. It's not about Sand Pond. It's looking at all of Sanford and bringing in, I understand you want to bring in business. It's about the neighbors that currently exist and protecting us from excessive noise, air pollution, site protection. And I think that, looking at the environment is the density issue.
So she is worried that new houses put next to her seasonal cottage will introduce excessive noise, increase air pollution, introduce structures that create site pollution, and environmental concerns. And remember, she said her position is not about protecting the pond. After listening to Bee, do you think she is really trying to implement a 100-foot setback to protect existing neighbors from new homes, campgrounds, and other construction, or is she just trying to preserve her way of life at her seasonal cottage? We covered a lot of ground today, and I appreciate your support and for following along as we navigate this political campground approval process in Sanford, Maine. Click subscribe and tap the bell if you want to know every time we post a new video, and hit like if you found this comment informative or at least entertaining. Thank you.